the Biden ticket wants to all but ignore. It should be a feisty debate, and here in the middle of that, Senator Rand Paul of this fine state of Kentucky. It is a beautiful state, Senator. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for coming to visit us.
We are told that they're going to get down and dirty on the data. That could be interesting. What do you think?
Well, you know, entitlements are consuming the budget. 2/3 of our budget is entitlements, and I think if you're an elected official and you're unwilling to look at reforming the entitlements, you shouldn't be in office. So I think this could be a really good discussion to talk about entitlements.
All right, now we should spell this out here because just over the last 4 years, they've grown markedly. And Sammy, I think we have some of these. Let's break it down, just what's been going on over the last 4 years, and something I do want to bring up with the senator, just on Medicare alone, if we could take a peek at that, and the growth in Medicare spending over these last 4 years to the point where we've gone from $390 billion to $485 billion. But the one that really caught my eye is just those who are benefiting from entitlement programs or part of them. If we don't have this, I'll just tell you, because it is far more important than anything you're showing. Disability enrollment up almost 18%. Medicaid enrollment up more than 19%. Food stamp enrollment north of 65%. Those are not sustainable numbers.
I can put it into one figure for you. The average person pays in about $100,000 over their working career into Medicare, but the average recipient takes out $300,000. You multiply that by 50 million people in Medicare, and that's why we have a $35 trillion deficit in Medicare. So in order to save these programs, and Republicans want to save them as much as anybody else, to save Medicare and save Social Security, they have to be reformed. But the other side has just been sticking their head in the sand, pointing fingers and saying, oh, you want to destroy Medicare. No, we're trying to preserve Medicare, but it needs to be reformed.
But look at what we've done. This dates back to the Reagan administration, Senator, and the fact of the matter is that under Republican and Democratic presidents alike, even adjusted for inflation, the money going out far exceeds inflation, year in and year out. That is not sustainable math. Now, this invariably comes down to an unpopular issue, a third-rail politics issue, because then you're presumably going after seniors, or you're risking the senior vote. What do you advise both candidates to do tonight?
I have more respect for the American public than a lot of politicians do. I've been talking about changing these programs since I started running. I said that inevitably the age of eligibility when you begin receiving Medicare and Social Security will have to gradually go up. You do it on the next generation, my age and younger.
What is the cutoff age? Everyone wants to know. All right, is it people now in their early 50s who should look at getting it maybe in their middle to late 50s? What?
For Social Security, I have a bill that would fix Social Security for 75 years, wipes out a $6 trillion deficit. We gradually raise the age to 70 over about a 20-year period, starting with 56 and under. And then what we do is means test the benefits, and that fixes Social Security.
So that wealthier people cannot get the benefits, or don't
they get a little bit less. If you made over $100,000 a year, you get about $2,200 a month. Under my plan, you'd get about $1,900 a month. You'd still get it, but you get a little bit less if you made a decent income when you were working.
Well, here's where I think both sides will risk putting people to sleep if they're not careful. You don't do this. You explain this in basic terms. That if they outwonk one another, like, oh no, you're going to steal $700+ billion from Medicare, Mr. President. No, Mr. Vice President. No, you're going to take $700 billion out of your plan.
No, you're going to.
Right.
No.
Here we go, back and forth, right? So how do they avoid that and not leave people at home watching totally confused?
I think the main thing you have to get across is, are you willing to do something to save Medicare, to save Social Security, or are you going to say, I'm not touching either one of them, and I'm not going to do anything, and I'm opposed to all reform?
Well, why not just say the way we're going now is not sustainable?
Well, I think you can say that, but you also have to be willing to put forward a reform. President Obama has not been willing to put forward reform. I sat this far from President Obama and asked him, you can fix Social Security, you can fix Medicare, I will work with you to do this, and you'll probably get reelected if you do it. But he refuses to do it. We have met with him time and again and said, these are simple mathematical things that have to be done. And it's no one's fault. It's because we had a whole lot of babies after World War II, and we had less babies in each successive generation, and we're living longer. It's a demographic problem. It's not a Republican-Democrat problem, and it could be fixed very simply if both sides would come together.
Well, with just minor adjustments, if you think about it. Senator, thank you very, very much.
Good to see him.
Senator Rand Paul, whose bipartisan plan to try to get this under control dwarfs even the efforts that Paul Ryan has taken, if anything, he and his dad, Ron Paul, has said that that plan doesn't go far enough, that we have to make and take a bigger bite out of these deficits and overall debt than we're doing now, and even the most aggressive plans. I want to